Taxi Driver wasn't supposed to work. It was too dark, too violent, too disturbing for 1976 audiences. The studio wanted to kill it. The director had a nervous breakdown. The lead actor was living like a literal psychopath, but somehow it became one of cinema's greatest masterpieces. And behind the scenes, lawsuits, mental breakdowns, real blood, and an assassination attempt that changed Hollywood forever. Here are 20 insane facts about Taxi Driver that prove this movie should never have existed, and they're stranger than any fiction. Number 1. The script was written by a suicidal hermit, living in his car. Paul Schrader hadn't spoken to another human being in months. He was surviving on crackers and bourbon, sleeping in his beat-up Oldsmobile. In 10 days of manic writing, he channeled his complete mental breakdown directly into Travis Bickle's psyche. The script wasn't fiction, it was a suicide note disguised as a screenplay. Schrader later admitted he wrote it to avoid actually pulling the trigger. The loneliness you feel watching Travis? That was real. Number 2. Columbia Pictures called it commercial suicide, then tried to sabotage it. The studio executives read the script and panicked. Too violent, too weird, they wanted it buried. When The Godfather made anti-heroes profitable, they reluctantly greenlit it, but slashed the budget to $1.9 million, hoping it would fail quietly. Mid-production, they tried to fire Scorsese when they saw how dark the dailies were becoming. Producer Michael Phillips literally had to lie about the film's content to keep it alive. Number 3. De Niro's method acting terrified the insurance company. Robert De Niro wasn't just playing Travis Bickle, he became Travis Bickle. For months, he drove real taxis 16 hours a day through Times Square, getting into actual confrontations with passengers. He lost 35 pounds, then gained it back in 2 weeks. The studio's insurance company wanted to drop his coverage, calling his behavior psychologically dangerous. They weren't wrong. Number 4. The film only avoided an X rating through color manipulation. The MPA watched the climactic bloodbath and immediately slapped it with an X rating. Box office death in 9. Scorsese's genius solution. He desaturated all the blood from bright red to murky brown. The MPA fell for it completely, thinking there was less gore. There wasn't less violence, just less red. Sometimes the simplest tricks work best. Number 5. A 12-year-old Jodie Foster required on-set therapy. Foster was cast as a child prostitute at age 12, and the studio freaked out. They hired a child psychologist to monitor her mental health. Plot twist. The psychologist was more disturbed by the script than Foster was. He called it psychological poison and recommended the project be cancelled. Foster's mom had to be present for every single scene. The irony, Foster handled it better than most adults on set. Number 6. Sybil Shepherd and De Niro's hatred improved their chemistry. They despised each other, completely. Shepherd found De Niro's method acting pretentious. De Niro thought she was a light. Their mutual loathing created perfect on-screen tension. De Niro would deliberately eat garlic before romantic scenes just to disgust her. Sometimes the best chemistry comes from real animosity. Their breakup scene feels authentic, because they genuinely couldn't stand each other. Number 7. Harvey Keitel refused his pimp costume, and almost quit. The original sport costume was pure 1970s exploitation film, feathers, sequins, cartoon pimp regalia. Keitel took one look and said absolutely not. He called it cartoon villainy, and threatened to walk off the project. The costume department spent days negotiating with him. The subdued version we see, that was the compromise. Keitel still hated every minute in it, which actually made his performance more menacing. Number 8. Scorsese had a complete breakdown during the massacre scene. The climactic shootout pushed Scorsese over the edge. The violence, the pressure, the studio breathing down his neck, he collapsed. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital for exhaustion. His mother had to finish directing that day's footage while he recovered. The most violent scene in the movie was literally completed by Martin Scorsese's mom. Hollywood doesn't get weirder than that. Number 9. The blood was actually chocolate sauce. The prop department ran out of stage blood during the massacre sequence. Desperate times called for desperate measure. Half the gore splattered on walls is chocolate syrup mixed with cornstarch. Some of the blood pooling on the floor, chocolate pudding. Next time you watch that scene, remember, Travis is literally standing in dessert. Number 10. Bernard Herrmann died completing the score. The legendary composer behind Psycho and Vertigo was racing against time. His health was failing, but he was obsessed with finishing the haunting saxophone theme. He delivered the final recording and died of a heart attack that same night. Taxi Driver was literally his dying breath. The film is dedicated to his memory. That haunting score, it came at the ultimate price. Number 11. You Talkin' to Me was never in the script. The script simply said Travis looks in the mirror. That's it. Everything else was pure De Niro improvisation. He'd been studying real taxi drivers for months, absorbing their mannerisms and paranoia. The entire mirror monologue came from those observations. One improvised moment became the most quoted line in movie history. Sometimes genius happens by accident. Number 2. De Niro couldn't stop making the finger gun gesture. The iconic finger gun became De Niro's unconscious nervous tic during filming. He'd do it during lunch breaks, between takes, even in interviews. Crew members were genuinely disturbed watching him unconsciously threaten people with imaginary weapons. Method acting taken to its logical extreme. The gesture haunted him for years. Travis Bickle was literally under his skin. Number 13. They shot illegally in real New York locations. Several key scenes were filmed without permits using guerrilla tactics. Hidden cameras, secret locations, Scorsese directing from a van blocks away. The gritty New York atmosphere isn't movie magic. It's actual 1970s urban decay captured illegally. They were one permit check away from being shut down. Sometimes breaking the law makes better art. Don't try this at home, kids. Number 14. The campaign office scene used real political volunteers. The McGovern campaign headquarters scene features actual political volunteers who had no idea they were in a movie. They thought the cameras were documenting real campaign work. Their genuine reactions to Sybil Shepherd's character create authentic awkwardness you can't fake with actors. Reality and fiction blurred so completely that even the participants couldn't tell the difference. Number 15. A real collision made it into the final cut. During the chase sequence, a stunt taxi accidentally rear-ended a civilian car. Real impact, real damage, real surprise. Instead of cutting, Scorsese kept rolling. The genuine shock and chaos elevated the scene beyond anything they could have scripted. The accident became one of the film's most memorable moments. Sometimes disaster is the best director. Number 16. John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate Reagan because of this movie. In 1981, Hinckley watched Taxi Driver 15 times, became obsessed with Jodie Foster, and decided to recreate the film's plot in real life. He shot President Reagan to impress Foster, just like Travis planned to assassinate a politician. Art-inspired attempted murder. Congressional hearings followed. The movie that almost got cancelled ended up changing American politics forever. Number 17. Jodie Foster received death threats for decades. After Hinckley's assassination attempt, Foster became a target for copycat obsessive. She required FBI protection and bodyguards for years. She refused to discuss the film publicly for over a decade, calling it a curse that followed me through my entire career. One role at age 12 haunted her for life. Fame came with a terrifying price tag. Number 8. Scorsese refuses to watch his own masterpiece. The director didn't watch Taxi Driver again for 20 years after its release. He was genuinely terrified by what he'd created. He calls it a monster that got away from me, and refuses to record director's commentary because the memories are too disturbing. Even the man who made it finds it too intense to revisit. That's true artistic horror. Number 19. The movie was banned but became a bootleg phenomenon. Several countries banned Taxi Driver outright, but underground screenings turned into cult events. In South Korea, audiences would recite De Niro's lines in unison. The more authorities tried to suppress it, the more powerful its cultural impact became. Censorship made it legendary. Sometimes the most dangerous art is the most necessary art. Number 20. De Niro still owns and drives the original taxi. 48 years later, De Niro keeps one of the film's taxis and occasionally drives it through New York late at night for research. Passengers who recognize him report genuinely unsettling experiences. He stays completely in character, never breaking the Travis Bickle persona. The line between actor and role never fully disappeared. Some performances never truly end. It started as one man's suicide note, nearly got killed by its own studio, and ended up inspiring a presidential assassination attempt. Taxi Driver wasn't just a movie, it was controlled chaos that somehow crystallized into art. A perfect storm of mental illness, artistic obsession, and pure luck. If you're fascinated by the thin line between genius and madness in filmmaking, hit that subscribe button. We're diving deep into Hollywood's darkest secrets, and trust me, we're just getting started.